What if your house could breathe? What if the walls around you weren't just walls, but something else entirely? Something alive. Imagine them as lungs, just waiting, patiently, for you to fall asleep. Picture this. A strange, rusty door that never stays in the same place. It moves from hallway to hallway, floor to floor. But one night, it stops. And that's when everything changes. Because the building itself has finally woken up. No one knows for sure what triggered it at the East Hollow apartments. Some blame the massive power failure that plunged the entire block into darkness. Others whisper that the building had finally gathered enough souls, enough fear, to feed its insatiable hunger. Whatever the cause, the moment it happened, East Hollow began to transform. At first, it was subtle. The tenants dismissed it as the building settling. A strange vibration in the floor. The groan of pipes shifting. The walls expanding and contracting with the temperature. Normal old building stuff, right? But then, the floor started to pulse. A slow, rhythmic throb. Like blood moving through massive veins just beneath the floorboards. Ceilings began to warp and bend, sagging downwards as if under an immense, unseen weight. Paint didn't just crack. It peeled off in long, curling strips, forming shapes that, if you stared long enough, looked chillingly like contorted human faces. And then came the whispers. Faint at first, they seemed to slither from behind the plaster, from within the ventilation shafts. A soft, collective hiss. Stay with us. Panic began to set in. Those who tried to flee discovered the building wouldn't let them go. The main stairwell, which should have led down to the lobby, somehow looped back on itself, leading them right back to the floor they started on. Emergency exit doors opened, not to the fire escape, but into other apartments. Or worse, into solid brick walls. Windows that once overlooked the city street now opened into other rooms, creating a dizzying, impossible maze. The entire building was folding inward, rearranging its own anatomy, swallowing itself whole with its occupants trapped inside. The security cameras, before they went dark, captured terrifying glimpses of movement, unsettling shapes crawling and slithering just beneath the surface of the wallpaper, making it ripple like disturbed water. And there, deep in the center hallway of the third floor, that same rusty door appeared again. It looked ancient, out of place, and it seemed to be breathing. A slow, deep, mechanical, one tenant, a maintenance worker named Jonah, decided he'd had enough. He was a practical man, armed with a heavy-duty crowbar, determined to force his way out. He approached the strange, breathing door, wedged the tip of his crowbar into the frame, and pushed. The moment the metal tool touched the rusted door, the structure didn't just resist, it inhaled. A powerful, hollow gust of air rushed into the door seams. The wall around it rippled like flesh, and in a sickening, fleshy motion the door and the wall pulled Jonah in. He vanished without a scream, consumed by the architecture. From that night on, a permanent twilight fell over East Hollow. Every light in the building glowed with a dim, sickly yellow hue. Every hallway and every room echoed with a low, guttural hum, like the sound of air moving through a massive throat. And anyone who was unfortunate enough to enter the East Hollow apartments was never seen again. They were simply added to the building's collection. Weeks turned into a month. And then one morning, the building was gone. Vanished, where the towering, 10-story structure once stood. There was now just an empty, rubble-strewn lot, surrounded by an unnerving, heavy silence. The air itself felt quiet, as if holding its breath. But construction workers and people in the neighboring buildings told strange stories. They claimed that sometimes, late at night, if you stood near the edge of the lot, you could hear faint knocking sounds coming from deep underground. Tap, 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 like someone trying to get out. Eventually, the city cleared the lot, and plans were approved for a new, modern residential tower to be built on the very same spot. The past was paved over with fresh concrete. New walls were erected, gleaming and sterile. And as the sun set on the very first day of construction, a young worker was doing a final walkthrough. He noticed something odd on a freshly painted wall in what was to be the ground floor lobby. A faint outline was beginning to appear through the wet paint. The shape of a door. There was no handle, no number, just a half-finished, ghostly rectangle. He leaned in closer, confused, and that's when he heard it. A whisper, curling through the new plaster like a wisp of smoke. A voice, both ancient and new, that said, "You found me. So tonight, when you're home, listen." Listen closely to the sounds your building makes. If the floorboards creak and the pipes groan, maybe it's not just the house settling. If you place your hand on a wall and it feels strangely warm to the touch, pull it back. Don't linger, because maybe, just maybe, your walls are already breathing. And if you ever see a door where there shouldn't be one, don't investigate. Don't get curious, run. Because this time, a new hunger has awakened, and this building wants you. Thank you so much for journeying into this unsettling tale with me. If you enjoyed this story and want more explorations into the strange and unexplained, make sure to hit that like button and definitely subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what's coming next. Stay safe and check your walls.